The intro to this video reminds me a little bit of the Shohei vid I did about a week ago, which, by the way, he's a central character in this one too, where I basically was just flabbergasted by the insane nature of what I had just witnessed. And that certainly applies here too. I mean, 18 innings of World Series baseball that broke more records than I could possibly list, while ending in perhaps the most epic way possible. Buckle up as we work our way there in what will be a long, and I do mean long, winding journey. Things began with a little history to start the night, as after Tyler Glasnow retired the side in order, Max Scherzer became the second player in MLB history to play in a World Series game with 4 different teams, and he showed why in that very frame, as after giving up a leadoff double to Ohtani, a hit that would actually end up being pretty important statistically in this one, he worked out of this mini jam without letting the Japanese lefty even move up a base, striking out Will Smith to end the frame. This brings us to our first real weird moment of the night, when, leading off the second, Bo Bichette lined a single into center field, putting himself on base for Dalton Varsho, who, on a 3-1, took a fastball well above the zone. But due to a late call from home plate umpire Mark Wegner, both Dalton and Bo became confused, believing that the hitter had actually walked. This allowed Glasnow, after a second of confusion himself, to flip over to first base to pick off Bichette. I think we can say here pretty decidedly that Wegner should have been quicker with that call and probably never should have made it in the first place. But Bo also shouldn't have taken his eye off the ball in the way that he did, with the same being true for the Jays' first base coach as well. This would prove to be pretty big, as despite the Blue Jays managing to get a walk and a single following, they couldn't score after Addison Barger struck out and Ernie Clement lined out. And the Dodgers would capitalize on this missed opportunity, wrestling momentum into their corner with a no-doubt blast off the bat of Teoscar Hernandez, a 1-0 lead that would double one frame later when Shohei Ohtani hit his 7th home run of the postseason, a line drive missile down the right field line. Things could have been even worse for Toronto, who, with 2 outs, watched Will Smith line a one-hopper to right field, a play that would, fortunately for them, see Freddie Freeman get thrown out handedly at the plate on a near 100-mile-per-hour toss from Addison Barger. Now it was Toronto's turn to build some momentum, getting a leadoff walk, then an error from Tommy Edman to put 2 guys on, bringing Alejandro Kirk to the dish, and on the first pitch of his AB, he delivered, smacking his 5th home run of the postseason just over the wall in left center. Their lead would double just a few batters later when Andres Gimenez launched a sacrifice fly to center field. But if you thought things were anywhere close to being over, here's a hint. We weren't even 1/3 of the way through this one at this point, with the yo-yo then moving in LA's direction in the bottom of the 5th, when Ohtani registered his 3rd extra base hit of the night off of Mason Fluharty, a double to the gap in left center that scored Kike Hernandez from first base. After Mookie Betts was retired, it was Freddie Freeman's turn to come through, lining a single past the outstretched glove of Guerrero Jr., nodding things back up. Things would then stay relatively quiet until the top of the 7th, when George Springer left the contest after some uncomfortability on a foul ball. Then with 2 outs, Vladdy flipped a single into center field, setting things up for Bo Bichette to line a fastball down the right field line, a play that would normally result in a first and third situation. But the big base runner wasn't satisfied with not scoring, racing all the way around from first on a single to score the go-ahead run. Would this be the straw that broke the Dodgers' back? Well, to put it simply, no, not at all. Courtesy of their MVP, Unicorn, who came to the plate with 1 out in the bottom of that frame and got a fastball at 98 right down the middle, crushing it out to left center field for his 4th extra base hit in the game, making him the first player to have 3 multi-homer games in one postseason, as well as tying him for the most extra base hits in a World Series game, with the dude who played almost 120 years ago. Once again, we were square. This is where the bullpen wars would really start, and oh boy would they be something to behold, with the first pressure-packed situation worked out of being from Roki Sasaki, who managed to barely secure this ground ball back to the mound in the 8th before flipping low to Freddie Freeman, who made the soft pick for the out. Then in the 9th, with Roki still on the hill, Varsho lined a ball off the glove of Freddie, sending Tommy Edman, who had made that error earlier in the game, sliding into the outfield grass before making a perfect one-hop throw to third base, nabbing Isaiah Kiner-Falefa trying to advance. Shohei would then reach for his 5th consecutive at-bat with an intentional walk in the bottom of the 9th. A bold strategy, but one that would pay off just 1 pitch later when he was thrown out attempting to steal second because his foot came off the bag, a play that certainly frustrated his own manager. Toronto would then see their second runner in as many innings gunned out on the bases in the top of the 10th, when Davis Schneider was thrown out on another perfect relay throw from Edman, this time on a double to the right field corner. Jeff Hoffman would work his own 2nd consecutive scoreless frame in the 10th, this time allowing 2 guys to get on, but not advance past that. Then it was Derek Fisher's turn to do the same in the 11th, sending us into one of our most pressure-packed innings of the entire night, the top of the 12th, when with 2 outs and 2 guys on, Max Muncy first attempted to make this incredibly high IQ play at third base, one that wouldn't end up working out when it was overturned upon review. This brought Hall of Fame lefty Clayton Kershaw to the mound to attempt to work out of a bases-loaded situation, and he would do just that when Nathan Lucas chased what certainly would have been a go-ahead ball 4, instead dribbling a little grounder towards second base that Edman made a glove flip on, his 3rd potential game-saving play in the last 4 frames. Eric Lauer would come out for the Blue Jays in the 12th, beginning a hero's journey that wouldn't end until much, later, along the way bending multiple times but not breaking. First by inducing a pop-up with the winning run at third base in the 13th, then after an intentional walk of Shohei and Mookie Betts, a fly out to the warning track from Freddie Freeman. After a second consecutive scoreless frame from Eduardo Enriquez, he then got back on the hill and immediately gave up a long fly ball to Will Smith to left center field, one that looked like, for a split second, it was going to end the contest. But Varsho managed to make the play probably 5 feet or so from danger. Then with a couple guys on and Miguel Rojas at the plate, Ernie Clement would help out as well, making a nice play to end the frame on an intentional one-hop bounce to first base. This is where our second big bullpen hero of the night, Will Klein, would enter the contest, a pitcher with a career ERA of 5.16 through 22 games, essentially being on this roster for mop-up situations, a role that you wouldn't have been able to identify based on his performance in this one, as he came out and proceeded to throw 4 consecutive innings of scoreless baseball, striking out 5 hitters along the way while giving up just a single hit. At the same time, Lauer would complete 4 2/3 of his own, while adding one more intentional walk of Shohei. Trust me, I'll get to why that's important in a second. The veteran lefty would finally depart in the 17th, giving way to Brendan Little, a guy who had already blown one game this postseason. But to his credit, he would pitch a scoreless 17th, while having the dubious honor of walking Ohtani intentionally, for the 4th time. This allowed the hitter to tie the all-time record for reaching base in a single game, outside of even postseason play, at 9, simultaneously setting the record for a World Series contest. After Klein pitched out of a jam in the 18th with a strikeout, getting Kike Hernandez insanely hyped up in the process, Little will be out there again, with starters Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Shane Bieber warming up in their respective bullpens. But neither would have to throw even a single pitch, because on a 3-2 to postseason legend Freeman, he would get a sinker right down the middle and launch it over the head of a leaping Dalton in center field to end what might have been the greatest game in World Series history, one that featured so many records being broken I couldn't even hope to list them all, including on this very blast from Freddie, as he became the first player in World Series history with multiple walk-off homers in a career. This little tidbit was pointed out by Sarah Langs on Twitter, who I've cited many times on this channel and in this video, and I just wanted to take one last second here to emphasize just how great of a follow she is. What a fantastic overall contest, one that arguably in my opinion neither team deserved to lose, and one that will be remembered for the rest of the time humans play baseball at a professional level. I just wanted to take a second and tell you guys that I'm now releasing content on my second channel once again. I've got 2 recent videos out there, one previewing the World Series from the perspective of positional matchups, and another reviewing your hot takes as submitted on my community posts. If you have an interest in content that's like that, with kind of limited editing, consider checking it out. Thank you so much. Now let's get into the outro. Alright everybody, if you made it this far, I appreciate you watching, and if you did, consider checking out any of these other videos on your screen right now for other content just like this. Also, if you ever see anything you'd like to see me detail in a video, feel free to reach out to my email, basebpoet@gmail.com, and if I end up using your idea, I'll give you a shout out. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day.